Hello? I can't hear you though. Oh, it's because you got, yeah, only very low. Yeah. It's okay now. Yeah, it's a bit better. Maybe just bring it closer to your mouth. That's much better. Yeah. There we go. Cool. I can't hear you though. Oh, it's because you got, yeah, only very low. Yeah. It's okay now. Yeah, it's a bit better. Maybe just bring it closer to your mouth. That's much better. Yeah. There we go. Cool. I wonder if now's the time to crack open my Sniper Elite beer. Could be. I'm quite thirsty. Where's Tim? Probably wise. I might do the same, maybe. That's how our whole generation.
That's the influence gamers have on my life. I'm pretty sure that was the solution to all my problems at one point, was shotgun.
Oh, they can hear us talking off screen.
Sorry?
They can hear us talking off screen, apparently.
Who can? You should be able to. Who can hear us? Everyone.
That's what Good Old Games is saying.
They shouldn't be able to. The mic's off.
Me?
Oh, could be. So I just turn that off.
You will be shut off.
Yeah.
You will be shut off.
Okay.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome and thanks for tuning in, everyone, wherever you are. You're here with Robbie Cook and Tim Jones from Rebellion. We are celebrating the launch of Aliens vs Predator Classic 2000 on Good Old Games by playing one of our studio's most treasured titles. if you somehow haven't already heard, AVP is completely free at the moment for anyone who signs up to the GOG Galaxy Beta. You've got less than 24 hours to claim your copy, so make sure you head over there after this stream. Now, Tim is going to get us set up on the single player in a second, but if you're a little rusty on your gaming history, well, the AVP franchise runs quite deep in our veins here at Rebellion. We developed the 94 Atari Jaguar game and the more recent 2010 release as well, of course, on last gen, but the 99 PC release will probably go down as one of our best games we've ever made. And Tim Jones, sitting beside me, actually worked on that game all those years ago, so let's root around in his brain and dig up some memories from the last millennium.
Thanks, Robbie. Yes.
Sorry, Tim.
It really was the last millennium, wasn't it?
Yeah. Didn't mean to make you sound so old. So, why don't you tell everyone what you do here now at Rebellion and what your role was on AVP back in the day?
Okay. Well, my role now at Rebellion is I'm head of creative here, which means I get to supervise all the fun creative stuff on all our projects. But back when we started working on Alien vs Predator, I started working as a 3D artist, and things were a bit different back then. We had a small team, and everyone did a little bit of everything. So I was doing level design, modelling, texturing, some audio design, lighting, you name it. I was involved in it, and by the end of the project I was working as lead artist and producer on it. So it sounds like I should know my way around the game inside out. That may prove not quite to be the case, since it's about 15 years ago that we did it. So
only 15.
Only 15 years ago.
Alright, well, why don't you get set up and pick a campaign? I think you're going to start with the Marine.
Yeah, I'll start Marine.
I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping. First up, Good Old Games have very kindly given us some keys to some classic Rebellion titles. So listen out for some codes in a bit, and of course feel free to ask us questions in the stream or on Twitter, which we're on @Rebellion. So let's get going. Tim, what's the plan?
Right, the plan is I'm going to see if I can make it through the first mission in the game, but because I'm chicken, I'm going to go for realistic mode and not director's cut.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Wow. These intro movies, they were like... we had these outsourced at the time. They were all pre-rendered. Looking at them now, they look pretty basic, but... well, they still look pretty cool. But back then, we were kind of looking at them in awe, thinking, oh, we'll never be able to do stuff like that real time. But we just kind of take it for granted these days. So, into the game itself. We're on LV-426, and I'm waking up after a bit of a heavy drinking session. That's Ed Cookson. He's one of the other guys on the team that worked on the game, doing levels, artwork. He did most of the audio design on the game as well. Very talented young man. And I think, actually, that's a little picture of his who was his girlfriend at the time.
I wonder if they're still together.
They're not. Ed is now married with twins. Yes. Oh, there's a mirror. Right. So, I'm going to have to figure my way around here in the dark. Image intensifier flat time. Okay, first puzzle in the game. This actually stumps quite a lot of people when they play it, because there's a switch here to use, which isn't actually activatable until you break the glass. I mean, the texture does say it above it on the wall, but you don't get a prompt or anything. It's quite old school in that respect.
And
so
you can tell I'm much of a console gamer, because the first time I played it, that's exactly the thing. I went over to your desk and asked you, Tim, what do I do when I go to the exit?
Yeah. No, I think even back then we were aware, like, this is a little bit obtuse. But this isn't a game to be playing around in and be friendly. Right. This switch I don't have to break the glass on. Okay. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so we've got a few questions coming in.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, a good point made by Oldie72. He says there's a dedicated Steam group called the AVP Classic Tournaments, and they're still supporting the game and
Awesome.
keeping the fire burning, so that's awesome stuff.
That is awesome.
Okay, so London Lock says, when will we get keys for the game? So as far as I understand it, you sign up to the Good Old Games Galaxy Beta, and you will be assigned keys in batches. So not everyone's going to get keys at the same time, but if you sign up, you will definitely get them probably in the next day or two. But someone from Good Old Games will be able to confirm that with you. Nux81 has a very specific question, and he asks, why did you guys redo the monitor card in the game for the gold edition?
Oh, now there is a fan. Well, to be honest, you might think these performances are a little bit hammy, but you know, it was just us on a Saturday in the garage at work, like muddling our way through.
Endearingly terrible as Eurogamer described them as.
Well, I'll take that. Endearing is a compliment, right? But the ones that were before were even more stilted and like really awkward in front of a screen. And we just wanted to get a little bit more kind of dramatic lighting into them and a bit of urgency. So yeah, I don't know if we've even still got a copy of the original videos, but like, yeah, these ones went in for the gold edition, I think.
Yeah, a couple of people think the old ones are great, so, you know, controversy already.
Alright, well.
People still painful. Yeah, we've got a couple of guys saying our volume's really low.
Whose volume? What, our voices? Or?
That's just me, I think, apparently, so I'm trying my hardest to talk really loudly.
Uh-oh. Alien time. Oh, really? Am I going to die now? This would be hilarious. Okay, I've still got half my health. I think quite a lot of people backed out and fell off the edge there and died at that point in the game. If you just bear with me for a moment, I'm just going to up my gamma a little bit. This is a dark game, and I'm just want to be able to see a little bit better. I don't know if you'll be able to tell that at home, but it makes a difference to me here.
So, funnily enough, one of the guys in the chat said, not the other one, the British one, so I don't know which one of us doesn't sound British. So,
Well,
me or you?
I don't know, actually. Ask him. I'm Tim. Do I sound more British than Robbie? I think the game still stands out for its dynamic lighting. I mean, it was certainly unusual at the time. Everything had static lighting or light maps. Everything in this game is, you know, fully dynamically lit, as you can tell with the flares and... Hello. Oh. Okay.
I mean, personally, as someone who, you know, has come late to the party for AVP, like, what I see from people, they just genuinely see this as a horror game.
Sure.
Was that the intention originally, or was it just supposed to be sort of, you know, because it's very fast-paced?
Yes, I mean, it was always intended to be scary, yes. I mean, that's a key part of the movies as far as we were concerned. Yeah, action's obviously a big part of it. It's probably got more in common with Aliens than it does Alien. You know, running around shooting, fighting lots of aliens. Obviously, it's you know, it's got that going for it. But the sense of threat was palpable in both those films, and we wanted to make sure that came across to the game as well. You know, we wanted to make sure a single alien could take you down if you were careless. And I think that's you know, a big part of it. The fact and the unpredictability as well. You know, it's not scripted. The aliens literally do kind of do their own thing. There's a wave controller that happens. It's set up virtually in the background. So like they kind of come in waves that are set on a sort of a certain random kind of basis. So you never know quite when they're coming. And everywhere in the level is fully connected up with ducts and things, so the aliens they're not just spawning out of cupboards and things like that, they're literally navigating their way around the world through vents and
that's very interesting. You know, you don't see that often in modern games. games at the moment. You know, a lot of stuff is very scripted.
Sure.
And you know, it's good to see Alien Isolation moving away from that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's refreshing the way that the encounters are different every time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a key part of the horror and the fear factor is if you know what's coming, then it just loses its sense of threat. Ah, here we are. There's the space jockey. Yeah, sorry to see what happened to you in Prometheus, mate.
So much less scary now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Whoa. Oh, really? Who made this game, honestly?
Right,
Scaring myself.
Right, so we're going to make the giveaway extra hard because obviously no one can hear me. So
No one can hear you.
apparently not. Apparently I'm very quiet.
Okay.
We're not British. We're not sure which yet. Right, so we've got a set of keys for different Rebellion games. I'm going to read out the full key, but I'm afraid I'm going to go minus the last digit. So you're all going to have to work out what the last number or letter is. So the first key is 7, C, B, 3, D, 1, B, 6, 7, 2, C, 4, 8, D, 6, 6, 7, B, B. And then one more after that. Have fun with that, guys.
One more now or later?
No, one letter. Oh, we've got plenty of keys to come. We've got another 5 or 6 keys.
Alright, so shall I get on with the next level now?
Yeah.
Okay, so level 2, Colony. This really is very directly inspired by the Colony in Aliens on LV-426. This level actually wasn't always the second level in the game. It was originally intended as the first, but it was just too hard for that. And a really, I don't know, dull piece of trivia probably, but for some reason it sticks in my mind. The original name for this level was Gen Shed 1. It was just one of those levels that went through various iterations and was kind of our prototyping ground for an awful lot of stuff in the game. Yeah, it was very late in the day it got renamed to Colony. Gen Shed 1 was its working title, which is not very catchy. And honestly, I can't even remember why it was called that. It might be short for Generator Shed or something, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm very unlikely to make it through this level because I can't remember my way around it, and it's hard, so I'll get as far as I can and then perhaps neatly skip onto one of the other species. Okay. Right.
So we've got a question in from the Hitman 7, and he says, can you tell us something about the difficulties of making this game? Challenges, I'm guessing.
Well, yes, and I'll try and do that while avoiding getting killed here as well. Well, I guess one of the main challenges was also one of the main joys of it, really, and that's that we didn't really know what we were doing, to be honest. You know, we were kind of making it up as we went along. These days, there are so many, 3D games out there. At the time, even 3D games were rare. It wasn't long since Doom had come out, and other games of that type. I mean, there was Half-Life, I think, came out while we were developing this. But basically, there weren't really any rules or established sort of ways of going about stuff, whether it was down to controls, how to get around the world, how to render things, how to build stuff, how to design puzzles. It was all kind of make it up as you go along and hope people liked it, which is probably why it ended up being quite different. No one else was doing dynamic lighting in the same way at the time, and that remained sort of uncommon for a long time afterwards. Yeah.
Well there.
Thanks.
We've had a question saying, why did you go with flares design-wise instead of, say, like a shotgun?
Basically because they're kind of more fun, I think. we kind of liked aesthetically the way they cast light in the environment as they move through it, throwing them out there. A shoulder lamp would always give you a pool of light around you, whereas the flare, it's very directed. It can give you it's a very sort of static pool in a place, and you kind of lose the sense of actually walking through complete darkness like you get at times here if you've got a shoulder torch on you all the time.
Yeah.
And the kind of the limitations of the lighting technology we had at the time would just basically look like everywhere was kind of lit up around you. So it was just more effective to do it as a flare, really. And yeah, it just kind of stuck. Everyone enjoys throwing flares around.
I had a question. I thought some people would bring it up. He's saying, I know that Sega holds a license. I'm not 100% sure what the situation is with that. I know obviously Fox are the main guys. And he was asking about whether you thought that someone might make a non-FPS Aliens game, more like an RTS from Evil Genius. Now, if I remember correctly, I think there was the original the first one. There was some kind of strategy Aliens game.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's right. There was an AVP Extinction, I think it was called. There was kind of a top-down strategy game. Now, that never really went any further. It wasn't us that made that, so I can't really tell you much about that one. As far as I'm aware, the fact that it didn't have any sequels or anything probably points to the fact that it wasn't hugely commercially successful. But I think it was pretty well received. I remember playing it and having fun with it at the time. There have obviously been sort of non-first-person shooter type Aliens games on things like the 3DS and Nintendo DS and mobile and things, but first-person just kind of fits the vibe, really. It's there's nothing better for putting you in the place of the characters and making you feel like you belong there.
I've played a little bit of the Way Forward 2D game on 3DS. That was quite good. It's quite atmospheric. Pretty hard.
Yeah.
I never completed it. Yeah. That's fun. Well, a question I have written down myself.
Yeah.
And this is I've seen some cool articles in Kotaku and stuff about the art. The art that Alien Isolation had. Fox. Was anything that Fox really open with Rebellion at the time? Did they let us loose around?
Honestly, we didn't have much stuff on AVP. We did some sort of extra levels for the Gold Edition, and we had more reference material for that. But it wasn't really until we started working on the AVP 2010, that we really got lots and lots of behind-the-scenes photos, set list, sort of props and things to really look at and deal with. Back then, when we were working on this one, we were often limited to sort of loading up the VHS video and trying to take a picture of the screen and grab some textures out of that and VHS is obviously old and antique these days, but even then it was. And if you go back and you try and look at any of the movies on there, you might go, well, I can tell what's going on. But if you then freeze frame it and try and extract the detail of a wall texture or anything out of it, you'll quickly discover that all you get is a blurry mess, which we kind of got away with this because we're dealing with quite low resolutions. This had to work on video cards with a single megabyte of video memory, which I seem to recall meant that we had 30 128 by 128 pixel textures for each environment. There's a bit of mind-numbing trivia that's still burned in my brain from the time. But get a lot more detail in games these days. Have I done all 5 of these switches now? I think I have. Oh yeah, he's telling me to go down to level 2, the med lab.
Hanging around in the studio, there's a video we did recently with Baxter and Yogscast, and just rooting around in our warehouse, we found those photos of the stop motion ones. first game?
Yeah, that was for the Jaguar version.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were little stop motion models. There were actual like physically made model tiles and things that pictures were taken off, textures, some of which were used in this as well. I'm going around in circles in the dark now. No, we used to have one. It fell apart through overuse, which is quite weird considering it was completely non-functional, but as you can imagine, a bunch of excitable game developers in the studio with a model pulse rifle means, you know, well, it was fun.
We do have our replica rifles for Sniper Elite as well for the
Yeah.
when we do the motion capture and stuff like that. So they're good fun. They always get passed around. And of course, those who don't know, Jason, our CEO, is big into his historical reenactments, and his office is full of just weaponry, basically, and they just come through in the post. You just see it being laid out in his office, in all sort of manner of death dealing. Yeah, he's just awful. Okay, right, guys, it's probably enough time. It's probably about time now for me to give away another key. So this is for games. So you just got to go to gog.com/redeem, and the code missing one final number or digit at the end is 36A8F 84A8E95D 492BC. Code's like ages.
Now, I'm in MedLab now. I seem to recall this is the first introduction to facehuggers in the game, so I'm being a little bit cautious. Ah yes, the flamethrower. Good anti-facehugger device. This still scares me, you know. Oh, there he is.
So, we've got an interesting question from...
Where's it gone? Oh, there it is.
Interesting question. What were our thoughts on Monolith's AVP2? Was there anything that, you know, we could have learned from that, or we liked about it?
Oh, I think, you know, there are a huge number of fans out there for AVP2, and rightly so. It's, I mean, the level of depth they went to with the stories and the campaigns in that was great. I mean, they really built on what we did. And, like, you know, it went in a bit of a different style. Ours was a little more hectic and a little less scripted, and theirs was a little bit more, you know, story-based. I mean, for ours, originally it was designed as a series of completely unconnected levels, and then late in the day, management decided that, oh, there's supposed to be a story to it, so we had to kind of retrofit a narrative into it and figure out how to string the levels together in a way that sort of made sense. I think we got away with it, but yeah, they were able to take it a lot further.
Tim, we might have to get you to read out the code. I think
Really?
I'm afraid, yes.
Can you not just turn up your volume?
Okay.
Sorry, is that not helpful? Really?
I think we're going to have to putting it on the discussion.
Okay.
That
Wow. I mean, I'll read them out if you want, but it's going to stall my gameplay a little bit.
It's good to know that no one can actually hear what you say, so I can say whatever I like.
I can hear you. Wow. Where am I going? Uh-oh. There he goes. Pop. Boiling acid blood. Right. I'm probably going to change levels now, because though I haven't died, I am kind of completely lost and stuck, and I can't remember where I'm going.
Okay, so we're going to go to the question.
Okay.
I can probably answer crack on.
Okay.
So, will any other games you publish on Good Old Games have like and AVP have X-Play? So yes, AVP is going to have X-Play support. We're going to bring an update to Steam in the near future, hopefully in the next few weeks, which will allow people from both GOG and Steam to play with each other.
AVP is one of the first Galaxy multiplayer games, so we may bring it to our back catalogue, but it's quite big, and as a studio with only limited resources, we have to concentrate on new games as well as old, so we'll just have to see, but it would be nice to see as many games as we can. Lord Zorith has asked if it's getting a graphics update. No, it's basically exactly the same game, but we've obviously added we're keeping the support for multiplayer. It's not a remaster or anything, we're not pretending it's that. It's the first time it's come to good old games. This might be one for you, Tim.
Yeah.
Was AVP inspired more by the films or the comics?
We took a little from both. I mean, ultimately, in terms of mood and things, the films were our primary inspiration for sure. But we certainly read the comics at the time and took a few ideas from them. But ultimately, you know, we're all movie geeks as well as gaming geeks, so that was where like our primary inspiration came from.
We've got someone who's baying for the Jaguar version of AVP, but I'm assuming that's not under our rights, our license.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's still available if you get yourself a Jaguar console off of eBay and play the game, although I think the game itself is actually quite sought after these days and quite rare. Right. You may have noticed I'm into the Predator campaign now. So a little bit more stealthy gameplay and less sort of running around panicky gameplay. For the time being, anyway.
Panic. Have you played Isolation?
I
know a lot of people, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of Aliens fans in the studio, and so many people have been playing it at lunchtime, so it's a big hit in the studio. But what about you, Tim? Have you played it? I haven't, I'm too scared.
I haven't played it yet, but I have it in my bag right now. I've been putting it off until I can give it proper attention. I've got some time set aside this weekend to really sit down and play it focused, because I think that's what it deserves. It's you know, a lot of games get played by me in, like, you know, spare moments, lunchtimes after work, or in between things, and certain games like Alien Isolation deserve full focus. So yeah, this weekend is when it's happening for me, because at the moment weirdly my lunchtimes are soaked up by playing a lot of Quake 3 again since that went free to play. It's got a similar speed to this game, actually.
Right, so I figured we might go through questions. But,
sorry, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that's right. I can't instead. Sorry, so Sniper Elite 3 getting zombies soon? Well, I don't know if you guys saw the announcement earlier this year. I think it was February, on the first birthday of the Nazi Zombie Army series. We'd made it to over 500,000 sales. We were just blown away by it, and we did announce that the series is coming to consoles. We can't give you any more details yet on that, but there will be something before the end of the year for you guys to see. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, it certainly will. It's looking good. Right, cloaking again. Oh.
So this one might be testing you out a little bit more. Gizmo says, what made you pick the E-grab mechanic in AVP 2010? In hindsight, is it maybe a mistake?
The E-grab mechanic.
Yeah, that's a good question. I played it on pad, gamepad.
Oh, has he been playing it on PC? Well, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on with AVP 2010 was making more out of the melee combat in the game between the various species, which is, you know, obviously with the Predator's wrist blades, the Alien has the claws, the Marine not so much. We really wanted to get as much kind of in-your-face, scary, physical action as we could in a first-person game. and yeah, when I guess what you're referring to is in multiplayer, the like grabbing people for kill moves could seem a little like an instant kill, but there are a lot of fans who still really enjoy the game as it was. So I would hesitate to say it was a mistake, but I wouldn't go so far as to say it couldn't have been balanced further had we had more development time. But then that is always the way. We never have as much time as we would like to get everything absolutely perfect.
We're getting a few tweets in saying that I'm incredibly quiet and I can't really shout any louder, so I'm afraid we can't do anything else. I'm quite sure why I'm coming out so quiet. We did the test earlier on, it was fine, so sorry guys, I'll try and make sure to take the key to the question.
Okay, yes, I'll do that. Am I going to actually make it through this level? I'm not sure. Right, I've done the switch. Time to go up the stairs. You know, I built the entirety of this level in a week. We were under a lot of pressure at the time to get the game finished, and yeah. This level was made in a week.
That is a good fact.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Face on that guy as well. That's actually Al Halsby. He was the lead artist on AVP when I joined the company. Good guy. So all the Marines' faces, the textures for their faces are derived from members on the team. So you'll see me in there. There's Ed Cookson, I think Julian Brady as well.
Mike Healy in there as well?
Mike Healy's in some of the videos,
okay.
but I don't think we've got his face on the actual 3D character models. Oops. It's,
yeah, for those who don't know, Mike's an important cog in our engine team, so he's been at Rebellion for a while, and a lot of the work that you see in games like Sniper Elite and stuff is down to him. And,
oh yeah. Yes, and the videos with him in, I think they first. Which level do they first come in? I think the level after this one on the Predator campaign, he's got a loud shouting voice. He doesn't really do that in the office at all, but when it came to the videos, we were all a little bit taken aback at how commanding he could be. He's just generally quite, you know, even-tempered, but yeah, you wouldn't think that from the video of him. See if I can make it to the end of this level. Am I getting lost? No, not at the moment. I know this level pretty well. But talking and playing a 15-year-old game at the same time doesn't necessarily make it look like I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I do know which way I'm going. However, I will be honest, when we come to playing the Alien level, the first Alien level, set in the Alien Temple, that's a bit of a labyrinth, and even though I built it myself, I will get lost in that, or at least I won't necessarily remember exactly how to find my way around it. I know the first bit pretty well, but the latter part's pretty tough. That's Aaron Guy. He used to work at the company as a producer. Okay, right. I think I'm in better shape to make it a little further through this level now. Ooh, if I'm careful. Love the spear gun. See, I knew that guy was behind the door. A number of times he's killed me when I opened that door, even though I put him there. Okay. We're tracking the trail of another predator that's been through here. We can see his blood placed in the environment, glowing away, nice and green. think that's what they call environmental storytelling these days. We didn't really have so much in the way of computer game theory back then.
It's the first one.
Yeah.
It does look a little bit like Dear Esther right now with the fluorescent blue. Someone asking actually, I don't know whether he's referring to Colonial Marine, of course he wasn't able to do with us. He's a big fan of the Gears of War horde modes and
Yeah.
and the sort of the Budge Hunt style gameplay as well.
Yeah.
He's wondering where he thought where that mode originated from, like who came up with that, you know. Was there a similar thing in AVP?
Well, we've got the skirmish mode in AVP where you could play as Marines or
that.
Predators against oncoming waves of aliens. Yeah, I mean that's always been one of my favourite parts of the game. It was quite a late addition, late on. We just thought, well, we could do this, and it's kind of quite almost, you know, Space Invaders-esque. You're just there, surviving for as long as you can, until your inevitable death. It's yeah, I don't know. It's kind of game mode that I like in a lot of games. Things like Gears of War, Call of Duty Zombies, AVP, Space Invaders. Tetris is another variant, really. It's I don't know. There's something about that kind of game style with the inevitable doom, but making your last stand as best you can. That's quite compelling. It's quite disturbing to me that that guy there actually had a texture of my face on him, and I've just pinned his head to the wall. But hey, I probably deserved it. Oh. You can see I probably favour the spear gun here. I could use another weapon, I suppose. Let's use the plasma caster. Ah, the waterfall. Hence the name of the level, Waterfall. Yeah. Oh, that's my health.
So that's about it really. I'm not sure what else we can say. Working on anything if that's what you're asking.
But would certainly love to. Wow, I did it. Shall I move on to the next level or a different species?
Maybe you try Alien now.
Let's do this. Okay, Alien. Episode 1, Temple. Another of these little pre-rendered intros. So here I am, waking up in a mysterious alien temple. We never really explain exactly where it is, but
that's because you didn't know.
I know exactly where it is, I'm just not telling.
We've had a few questions also about the AVP Gold soundtrack. Is it going to be coming out in Good Old Games? I don't know. Kevin might be the person to answer this.
Oh, you mean separately to the game itself?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. But yeah, no, I think the composer's name was Rich Ragsdale. He did a phenomenal job. It's just like one guy put it all together. I don't think it's real orchestration, it's all done with like synthetically, but it sounds pretty convincing, and he'd certainly nailed the atmosphere of the movies. Okay, so this is probably a bit rare in the whole of the AVP campaign, and that the whole of this section of the level actually has no enemies in it at all. It's just essentially a bit of a proving ground for the alien to get used to navigating around and having to figure out how to climb up the walls.
Spoilers.
Really? Really?
No, they don't face anything else.
Well, yeah, you will soon enough. Yeah, this is the closest we got to a tutorial, really. As tutorials go, it's not very friendly, but it's a little bit of a view outside of some spaceships and stars.
That's an interesting question.
Uh-huh.
So if you guys didn't have stuff from Fox, or much stuff, does that mean the film stills from the level select menu are just captured from VHS?
You know, are the film stills in the level select menus captured from VHS? You know, I honestly can't remember, but they could well be. That's a very good question. That's conceivable. Yeah, I don't think they were from any official source. Okay. Alright, that's blocked off the fire. Now I can make it down into the next bit of the temple where it's being investigated by the Colonial Marines forces and their archaeologists.
Okay, so doesn't AVP 2000 use the Quake 2 engine?
No. No, it doesn't. It uses our own engine. Everything we do at Rebellion uses our own engine technology. This engine, the AVP 2000, was done on, I guess we called the AVP engine. As after we did this game that we moved to creating an engine that we could use for any game on any platform, so that then became the Azura engine. But yeah, this engine was designed very specifically for AVP and AVP only. So all the niceties like crawling on walls, ceilings, AI doing the same, that's all very specific to this engine, although we used a lot of similar techniques in AVP 2010. But yeah, we get that a lot actually with our games. People say, "Oh, is that Crytek? Is that the Unreal Engine? Is that this, that, the other?" It's like, no, it's our own tech.
Yeah, Total Biscuit thought we were on the Cry engine, which was funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one? What, Sniper 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did he like the game?
I think he did. Yes, I think he. Yeah.
Good.
Some nice comments about it.
Good. He's a good man. I like Total Biscuit.
You won't like his Nazi Zombie video.
Well, it's an acquired taste, but I love it. That we just caught a glimpse of Ken Turner. He was our lead animator on the project back then. He now works in TV special effects and animation. Okay, I'm gonna be careful of these civilians. The blue glow guys, they're civilians, and they're walking around with Molotov cocktails. So, yeah, if I take them out, they will likely. I'll probably catch fire. So if I can provoke them into chucking them first, giving them a hiss. Come on.
That's really cool how that theme has carried on through the Aliens games. You know, they're using fire. You know, from the first
Yeah.
Alien film, and they try and flush the alien out of the thing. Alien Isolation with its kind of Molotov cocktails and stuff that I've seen. Well, I've seen some kind of flaming things that you can throw at it. So
Yeah, there's something very primal about fire, particularly when you're trying to defend yourself. Oh, that was me doing a head bite there. Regained a bit of health. Looks like she lost a little. So, which way am I going here? Looks like a predator died there. Yeah, this is where my memory of exactly how the level's supposed to be played gets a little hazy. Oh, not like that. Okay. That's a sentry gun, that's bad news. Do you reckon I can... No, I'm not gonna... There's another... I'm gonna go the other way. I think there's another way to do this. If I head across this way... Ah, that's right. Now I remember what you have to do. You have to take out these electric boxes. Go left.
So if people are asking us about whether we'll release the source code.
Will we release the source code?
Laboratory 1 access granted.
I think it might have been released already. Or am I getting mixed up? If it hasn't been, then we're unlikely to. But, because there's a lot of proprietary stuff in there, as you can imagine. But, so no immediate plans to do that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we need to explain, a lot of people ask us whether we're going to allow modding in our games, but when you open up your technology to the public, you have to be planning well in advance, the way that Crytek do with the CryEngine and Unreal do with their engine. You've got to be planning for it to go public. If you just whack your own source code out there in the public domain, people can start hacking the games and making it quite tricky for developers like us. So I'm afraid it's not something we can just do very easily and without much consideration.
Okay. Oh, someone's screaming there. Let's take out that sentry gun. Okay. Oops. Head up into the ceiling here. I think, if I don't get too disorientated, I'm going to be able to make my way... Oh, have I done this wrong? No, not that way. Sorry guys. Oh. Right. What are my chances of making it past the sentry gun here, do you reckon? I can hear it just round the corner. I'm gonna... go for it! Yeah! I'm just too fast. It was. Oops, I just set myself on fire by exploding a barrel by mistake. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. I have opened the next section. I am doing much better on this level than I was expecting to.
Some people are getting dizzy.
Dizzy, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No unauthorized personnel.
No. Oh, hello. What's going on? Ooh, someone in a cell with an egg.
Appa64 says, that's exactly what it was like 14 years ago. Nope, not this way. Nope, already here.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, you see that texture on that on the bottom of this thing there? That's it's actually a bit of a photograph of one of my brother's oscilloscopes at home when I was a kid.
Oh, right.
He was into electronics and stuff. Well, still is. He's an electrical engineer, but yeah. Fun fact. I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing now. I think these cells are basically just for entertainment. Burning people. That screaming you hear, that was Julian Brady, one of the other guys on the team. Really talented artist and designer. He did some of the best level design in the game. Particularly on the alien levels. Not this one though, this one was mine, so any problems with being lost and confused are entirely my fault.
No unauthorized personnel.
What am I doing now? Oh, androids. You can tell by their milky blood.
So how much of the blood physics in this game do you think has gone into Sniper Elite 3 15 years later? Straight in now.
How much of the blood physics have gone in? I'd say there is very little in the way of continuity between the blood in this game and the blood in Sniper Elite 3. But yeah, things are a lot more sophisticated now. Back then it was all entirely code driven. Like we didn't even have any tools in the house for like how to set up what textures and how the particles would behave. It was all entirely down to our lead programmer and us going, can you kind of make it a bit more like this, and wouldn't it be good if like it stuck on the floor when the blood hit there, and yeah, we kind of want more of it, and can you make it this color? And it's, you know, it's not really a very efficient way to work, but it worked for us back then. Right, I'm not going to play this whole section again. Maybe I should. Shall I try a skirmish mode or some multiplayer or skirmish? That seemed to come up in discussion. Right. Right. Which map? I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Hadley's Hope because this one is
Classic.
a loving recreation of the Hadley's Hope environment from the Aliens movie. Excuse me, losing my voice.
We're getting a few questions sorry, Tim, about whether we're going to have an anti-cheat system. I say the GOG version of AVP.
We've got no specific plans there, but we will obviously keep an eye on if there are any particular issues that are coming up.
Maybe we can spot anything really severe. That in the chat, the community address. They might not have heard me.
So,
I'm really going to thank me when I put that out to the public.
yeah. So I killed 6 aliens before I died. Nice. This level, actually, I did use some of the actual set plan designs for the Hadley's Hope environment in the movie to get the layout of the level as close to operations as it could be. So placement of the table where the cast all gather round and say, look at all the civilians in the atmosphere processor because they can see their trackers, and Newt goes affirmative, and the placement of MedLab with the face huggers here. It's all physically laid out like the set was in the movie, more or less, apart from scaled a bit weirdly because everybody moves so fast in this game. It's
with speed. The first thing I noticed is that a deliberate choice because of what arena shooters were doing?
It was partly influenced by the fact things like Quake was so fast at the time, but also with our publishers at the time there was a certain amount of back and forth with the producers there about how fast the characters were supposed to move and how fast we thought they should move, and it was a bit of a discussion, to put it politely, and in the end we gave them a bunch of controls to say, okay, you make the changes and show us how fast you want the characters to move, just to put an end to the conversation. And these are the speeds they ended up with, which were very, very fast. Weirdly, they then followed that up with some queries about why things were getting so small when they were in the distance, which is, I don't know. I think a function of the fact that we were moving so fast, people were getting farther away from things than they thought, and maybe the field of view camera, but I don't know. Weird questions you used to get asked back in the day before people had such a more intuitive understanding of how 3D games work.
So, the $1 million question.
$1 million? Do I get $1 million?
Well, we might do if we do very well. King 8-bit says, what's next for Rebellion? More Sniper Elite, AVP, or a new IP, maybe?
Well, we have a number of exciting projects on the horizon. Most of which I can't really talk about at the moment, unfortunately.
I can tell you right now, you're not allowed to say anything, because that's my job.
Oh, thanks, Robbie. I wish I could. Well, we have teased things about Nazi Zombie Army and where we're going with that, bringing that to console. We've got some exciting stuff going on there, which is looking really awesome. We continuing to support Sniper Elite 3 with downloadable content and patches, and just keeping that going. You could make some guesses about whether you were likely to see more Sniper Elite games in the future, on which I couldn't possibly comment either way. We're continuing to support our mobile titles as well, Evil Genius Online, and we've got some interesting stuff coming up with that as well. But specifics about specific projects are the kind of like gossip that you're looking for. I'm under a gag order here, aren't I, Robbie? I can't say anything. Have I said too much already? Okay. But yeah, no, there's some really exciting stuff going on, and we will tell you about it as soon as we can. Any more questions, Robbie?
Any Easter eggs or secrets in this game? Maybe you can share a couple of your favourites.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Well, there's an Easter egg right here. See in here? There's a little hamster in a wheel. Reference to Aliens there.
Yep.
He's a rather polygonal looking hamster with very few features, but there's a little touch for you. If you hang around in the control room here, you can hear the dropship crash and people screaming outside periodically. There are a number of little nods and winks throughout the levels, little secret areas, but I kind of have to show you them to explain them properly.
I have another interesting question actually. Saying, do you ever encounter any criticism for the violence of the kids on Predator? I assume you're talking about 2010 as well.
Yeah, it didn't really come up particularly for... I mean, we kind of considered it a pretty violent game. I mean, it is a pretty violent game. At the time, with all the dismemberment, blood flying around the place on this, but I think because the graphics are so relatively basic, there's a limit to how disturbed you can become by it. It just becomes kind of cartoony, even if it's still scary in the dark. With 20,
animations 2010,
yeah, they got more full on. I don't think we got criticism as such. I mean, it was all done like in keeping with the sort of what you'd expect to see in the movies themselves. You know, these are bloodthirsty aliens and predators that do violent things to people, and so we were basically just expressing the characters as you'd expect to see them and not sanitize them unduly. So yeah, I think there were a few comments here and there, but I think most people kind of see it as, yeah, it's fantasy sci-fi violence. It's not, you know, we're not dealing with a real world scenario here, so I think people take it at face value and enjoy it for what it is, and if it's a little bit too visceral for people, then, well, then it's probably not the game for them, really. But I think there's a lot of people out there who are certainly into that the same way we are.
So are you surprised that other games haven't picked up on this idea between having like other AVP games, between having like a civilian and a soldier and an android? It seems like a really interesting balance in a game that old that hasn't really seen much competing.
Well, I think the part of the reason for that is you are literally making like a different game for each species. And you're making 3 games in one, which is really, really tough. You know, when they've all got completely different ways of navigating around the world, different weapons, they've all got their own campaign. It's quite a challenge to make that to pull that off. And most games, I think, wisely focus on a single character and upgrading that character or doing things that way. And it's been, it's a tough thing to do, and I think that's why people steer away from it. Oops, I'm probably going to die quickly here against the Predator aliens. I don't know, what do you think?
It's an interesting one. It seems like the whole having combat in Alien Isolation has been a bit of a Marmite topic, as we say. A bit of hate, like the creepiness of it, but I guess they didn't want too much humans who might want to be a bit of a spice to you. And same for Aliens Cloning Marines, there's a lot of androids and stuff in that too.
Yeah. It's sorry, did I misunderstand your question?
Well, I think they were asking about the balance between having the different kinds of units.
Oh, that you play against rather than... I see, right. Yeah, I mean... Well, we introduced the androids purely because they were part of the world. You know, they've been established in, well, all of the Aliens movies one way or another. And it's, you know, just seemed natural to have them there. And the first time you encounter them, certainly in this, it was a little bit of a surprise to see, like, you know, the non-red coloured blood coming out, and you go, oh, this guy's different. Same way you did in the movies. And for us, like, narratively, they were an interesting place to go in AVP 2010 for sure.
Well, let's see how long you can survive. We'll wrap it up from there.
Okay. Probably going to wrap it up very quickly at this rate.
I'll ask you some really complex questions.
Please, please. I need... I can't remember what the key is for getting my health out. I don't think I've got enough charge for it anyway. Let's try this. What's that? Medicomp. Come on. Nope, I haven't got enough energy for it. Where's the... Oh, there's a field charge up there. How do I get up there? I seem to recall there's a set of stairs around here somewhere. Maybe this way? Oops.
I think this is the most important question of the day.
Yeah.
Are we going to make a MOBA?
That's the most important question of the day.
I'm saying that's sarcastic. I'm afraid I'm not a MOBA fan.
I think MOBA fans are quite well catered for at the moment.
That is true.
You know, there are some fine MOBAs out there, and we don't have any immediate plans for making a MOBA, and I think to do so you'd want to be able to be doing something definitely different.
Well, we had a standard pack, and you should have seen Riot's standard packs. Insane.
Yeah.
It was bigger than everything. It made the most noise. They were just giving out high-level prizes every 5 minutes. Thousands, hundreds of people around the planet. So that's amazing. How big the games are.
Yeah, I think yeah, we'd have to have something really pretty amazing to try and go up against those guys, or something, you know, really different to capture a different audience. I think, because it'd be hard to pull people away from that. Go on. You not got another question?
Don't worry. We had a couple asking why only the first Sniper League is on GOG.com, but I'm assuming that's just an age thing. I don't know. I mean, I know it's I've got a good relationship with this, so
yeah.
I imagine it will be in the future.
I don't know the answer to that one.
No, neither do I. Right?
I know a man who would, but he's not here right now.
Yeah. How long has it taken for us to update the code to get it, the game on the current window? Like, can you remember how long that's taken? Did you do much development for that?
Yeah, there's been a fair amount over the like here and there. I mean, we did some before when we first brought it over to platform. We've done more recently to sort of working with GOG to get everything working nicely with their systems. So in terms of actual amount of time and manpower put into it, I couldn't put a figure to it, but more than you'd think, given that it's an existing game that's already there. But you know, technology moves on. I would have never have thought back when we made this that 15 years later it would still, you know, be being played and available and working on PCs. So yeah, it's kind of surreal actually, but awesome. I'm hugely proud of what we all did. Damn. I died, Robbie. Burning, flaming death.
Well, I think that's an excellent place to wrap up. Tim, you did a good job there. I don't know, you only died twice, didn't you, the entire time?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Only once or twice.
Alrighty, well, do you have any last words?
Well, thank you for watching, everybody. It's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure to revisit the game all this time later, and it's a thrill to know there are people out there that are still enjoying it and still fans. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks Tim. We hope you guys will enjoy the stream. Hopefully this will be the first of some more regular Let's Plays from Rebellion. It's kind of a new thing for us, but we want to play not only our own games, but maybe some games from other devs too. Thanks to goodoldgames.com as well for helping us promote this Twitch and for giving out some keys. And to remember to subscribe to our channel here, obviously Rebellion Official on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter at Rebellion, or find us on Facebook at Rebellion Developments. Okay, so of course head to GOG.com, register for GOG Galaxy and get yourself a free copy of AVP for now. Cheers everyone and see you soon.
Good night.